between people who just seem to, stay in this elevated state. And the way that they present it is that there can't be any bad feelings. Or if you do have them, you need to just get over it, kind of thing.
Or integrate as
And,
soon as
Let them,
possible.
let them go, which is a great, I agree with you, but it's not as easy for some people as it is for others. And so I've been trying to close the gap between those two things. And my working hypothesis now is what we're attempting to do here is raise the base level of consciousness up. And in order to do that, you have to have a bit of a gap between these two things, and a rope pulling a little bit. And I think back to the ascended masters, characters like the Buddha, like Yeshua. These guys were not. At least the more I read
They were
the
not
more I
just
read
sun
biblical
beams of
text.
positivity.
Yes, the more I read
Right.
biblical text, and the more time I spend in spirituality, the more I'm realizing that a lot of our ascended masters, a lot of the people that we look to as spiritual leaders, were kind of pricks. They were revolutionaries, they were rebels, and they got angry a lot. And their whole purpose was to effectively pull the bottom up and pull the top down, and just be like, look, we all need to meet here in this place so we can all move up together,
Right.
as opposed to just trying to force everybody into a certain mindset and expect that everybody take the same attitude.
Yeah, I completely understand that and what you were talking about, but not but. I'm gonna follow you.
Yes, and it's
Like
improv.
it's completely different. Like I spent many years in the church and in Christianity, and everybody had that language. Oh yeah, everything's good. I gotta, what I speak is this and that and that. This is completely different for me now because and it's about being yourself. That's you just have to be yourself. It's too much work to put on a mask and to keep up
And
with some
that
certain
don't help anybody.
facade.
Right.
But now it's more like, yeah, oh, the guy didn't get the loan. What the hell? But what does that mean? What is that changing now on this moment? I'm not sitting on that now. Oh, everything's ruined now. I have no money, and no, it's just like I have to say it's more like what the hell is happening, and why don't I understand this right now?
Yeah.
And that's what it is. But it's just gonna happen how it is anyway, and I have no effect on it. The guy didn't get the loan. I couldn't have changed that in any way. I could have changed in any way that somebody used my social security number in 2020, and I haven't been able to get unemployment since September because they're checking the fraud case. All I can say is something's happening around me, and what the hell is it? And I guess I'm more interested in finding out what it is that's happening as opposed to worrying about it because I can't affect it in any way. It's there.
Right.
And that's like, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think it's interesting that you bring that up, because Tori has pointed out, I've pointed out here a handful of times, that all the people I seem to be connected with are going in the spiritual community, are going through this similar transformation of, I call it, or I guess I should call it, like, weird financial independence, weird removals from the financial system in some form or fashion. Like, and mine started with something as stupid and simple as I refinanced my truck back in 2022 when we moved here to Michigan. I went through a third party broker, signed a power of attorney, signed all these documents, handed it over, got approved for the refinance, and I had been paying my car note for the last 2 years. At the end of 2023, the broker started reaching out to me and saying, hey, we need you to re-sign some documents and resubmit some stuff. And it was the same documentation I had already done. And so I asked them, why are you asking me for this again? And they said, well, the lender doesn't have the title. Something didn't happen right with the paperwork, so we got to redo everything. And I said, okay, I don't quite understand that. I would like someone to explain to me what exactly happened. Nobody would get on the phone with me. Nobody would talk to me about it. And then the managers for this broker company started calling me and threatening me and saying, we're going to default you on your loan. We're going to repossess your car. And I was going, I'm paying the balance. I'm making my payments. You cannot make those threats. Yes, we can. We're going to come repossess your vehicle. And I said, whatever, I'm not going to do anything. So I kept paying my car note. I didn't do anything. They gave me a deadline. They said, if it doesn't happen by February of 24, we're going to come repossess your vehicle. Nobody ever showed up. And the month after they gave me the deadline, then the bank started reaching out to me and saying, hey, you need to work with Auto Approve. And I said, well, then someone at Auto Approve needs to talk to me and tell me about why these things are happening. Because nobody has been willing to give me an explanation as to why I have to re-sign all this paperwork. That's all I want, just an answer to that question. Did you guys make a mistake? Did you miss something? That's all I'm asking for. If you're not willing to do that, I'm not helping you. And so then they sent me a the credit union sent me a follow-up letter that said, if you need to get an attorney involved, that's your choice, but we're gonna keep bugging you until you do this.
Right. So it's absolutely unwilling to talk to this.
Unwilling to give me an answer to any of these questions.
And yet, signing a power of attorney is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I'm not
like
signing
it's
a
something
power
that
of
we don't
attorney.
necessarily want to do without context.
That's the lines of communication in the world with this financial stuff is insane. I can't get in touch with the Department of Labor. I can't get in touch with anybody, and everything's on hold on my end, and there's nothing I can do.
And they come
so
at
I know
you
exactly
super
what you're
duper-
talking about.
And they come at you super duper aggressive and angry as you're just sitting here going, I didn't do anything. I have not done anything. And the same thing has happened with our house. Now that's a different situation, but I'll just be upfront about that too. We had not paid our mortgage. And I just because we couldn't afford it. It just got to the point where it's like, that's a huge bill.
Yeah.
Right. It was like we can pay the house or we can have food.
Right. It's just got to that
Same here.
point.
I've gone to
And after 30 days, they start sending threatening letters saying, we're going to foreclose on your house after 90 days. We're going to default you on your loan.
Which is the process we're familiar with.
And we were like, we figured that was coming, whatever. There's nothing we can do about it. I can't magically have money that I don't have. I don't know what you want me to do about that. And so they said, November 1st, we are going to start the foreclosure process on your house. And I was like, okay.
And moving
Whatever.
until we qualify for forbearance.
Yes, and so November 1st comes around, and they say, their tune completely changes, and they're like, hey, guys, we understand you have some hard times, things happen, and you can apply for forbearance now. And if you just pay these things, then we'll go ahead and forgive the problem. It's like, why didn't we start there? Why did we have to start with you being an asshole to me? Why couldn't we start with, we're in financial hardship?
I 100% understand everything you're saying. I'm going through all of it. It's insane.
Coming full circle, this seems to be happening to everyone I'm interacting with. And I almost feel guilty about it. I'm like, you don't want to associate yourself with me. I'm bad news financially. If you're in contact with me, some bad financial shit is gonna happen to you.
I don't know. Worst comes to worst, if one of you knows how to plan and one of you knows how to build, we could all just go in a van by the river.
Yes.
Yeah, well, and it's funny. It kind of starts coming down to these conversations of where can we congregate, and it seems to be a case of we're all being kind of pushed to communities that
are separate from the system.
Right. Or communities where there's a level of acceptance for our energy, right?
Absolutely.
And to just like add on to this too, just as another example, she went and applied for Michigan housing assistance and food and everything else. We filled out all the paperwork, we sent it in. A week later, we didn't get a notice of a meeting. We didn't get a notice that we'd been approved. We didn't get anything. We got a letter that said, you missed your appointment date. Now you have to resubmit your application. And we were like,
What did we
where
miss?
was the communication about the meeting?
Same
We would have.
thing happened
I
to
would
me.
have showed up. We would have been there. Why did no one tell us that there was a meeting?
And well,
Oh
and
my
in
God.
part, we got the 2 letters at the same time. In the same mailbox, we received one letter saying your meeting is for the day before that we the day before.
Yeah, when we got the
message.
letter, your meeting is the day before we got the letter.
And then the second letter was you missed your meeting. So how?
Oh my
how
God,
was
I
those 2
could
notices
literally-
sent at the same time.
I literally have the same envelope from social service with the 2 separate letters in it.
Yeah, it makes
One
no
that says I
sense.
missed my meeting and one that says that I was denied for
So then you begin to think they're doing this on purpose. This isn't an accident.
Right,
No.
and then when we went to file again, their uploading process wasn't working. And
Yeah.
every time, and then what was crazy is that then it was like I kept fighting it. I kept like, oh, I'm gonna keep trying. It can't be down forever. Their system can't be broken forever. And then my internet crashed.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, so even though I kept trying to submit this paperwork, my internet crashed so that I couldn't submit it by the time they needed it.
So at that point, it's like we just have to accept the synchronicity that we're not supposed to do this. This isn't supposed to work out.
Right.
We're supposed to flounder a little longer. That's what it sounds like.
It's insane. It's so insane. It's not, and at this point, just listening to your story and me knowing mine, it's not coincidence at all.
No, and I'm racking my brain. I'm going. I've paid my taxes. I've never been audited. I have done the American thing my whole life, and I've stood at the top of the American hill and planted my flag and gone, I believe in this, and these systems
Right.
work, and we gotta do. And now the system
Everybody
is literally
here
kicking me in the nuts, going,
Mhm.
all that belief you have, yeah, that's gone now, buddy.
Yep.
You don't get to believe those things.
Howard, you,
Right. And
you,
what's
Yo.
Howard. I
crazy
want to
is that,
digress to
you
Howard
know,
because Howard
because
hasn't
of
said a
the
word.
perspective we come in with.
Howard, tell me a little bit
Because of
more.
the perspective
Can you guys hear me?
I'm just sitting here listening, taking it all in.
Okay, well, I know, me too. But Howard, you just yesterday, I
Yeah.
want you to
Yeah.
jump in here because I just feel like it's so necessary. You said like 2 sentences to me, and I did not follow that string. And by the way, everybody, we are live. I have double checked that. So just knowing that. But Howard, I want you to go ahead
I can see that.
and share what you were even referencing to where you are now in comparison to where you apparently were headed, and yet now you see it from a completely different perspective. How does that relate to the 12 laws and to their conversation? Tie us together. And I'm just going on a whim here because you are that type of person that's going to see
Oh my
exactly what
gosh.
I'm seeing.
I don't even know where to start with that. I don't even know where to start.
Yes, you do.
You're gonna have to guide me here. I mean, I see that. I mean, everything's connected, right? Everything is energy, and consciousness. Lead me here, because we talked about a lot of different stuff. You gotta sort of.
All right. So
prime
you
the pump here.
said
If
to
you
me
spoon
that
feed
in
me,
your
I'll-
life,
I'll
you said
jump on the bandwagon.
you said in your life that you were going in a direction, and now your age and where you are now is very different than what you thought it would be, based on you
Did I say
and
that?
your values of. Yeah, you didn't say all of that, but you basically said my life would be totally
Well,
different had I gone that way. And now
I mean,
I'm
I
realizing from a
said-
different perspective. We were talking about being on a building from instead of being, and looking at the perspective as opposed to where
Well,
we were.
that all of those things have already happened. All those possibilities exist. Yeah. Simultaneously, one, I try not to, you can't live in the past. You're supposed to stay in the present moment. It doesn't do any good to go back and think about what if I did this, what if I did that. But we were talking about the concept of the higher self and the oversoul, and that there's the way I believe is that there's an unlimited or infinite number of realities or realms or parallel universes or parallel existences, whatever you want to call them, that I'll occupy the same space and time where we are here right now, but let's say just say maybe out of phase with each other. Their frequencies, their vibrations a little different, so that you can occupy the same physical space, but they don't physically overlap. It's like there's all these different dimensions, and we're all in the same place, but out of. Imagine the universe is like you have all these different. You slice the universe in all these tiny slices, and all those slices are individual universes, and they all exist in the same spot. You just can't see them. When you tune your vibration to the frequency of that reality, so to speak, you can jump timelines, and you the way you do that, move to a different timeline is by basically resonating your own vibrational frequency and your whatever you want to call that with the same frequency, or you tune to the channel of that other reality or that other dimension, and that way you shift to it, and that they're all here. We just can't see them all from this human existence, and that many times a day you may shift from one timeline to another, but the change you don't notice it because the changes are so subtle. But I think what Eric and I are talking about is that you know, had I known that sort of these things now, I think my life would have taken a different path. But then again, I said that is already happening or is happening, and that all of these realities are all happening simultaneously. And we're talking about past lives and how you go through one life, you have a soul family, you repeat the same sort of lessons in different incarnations, but your roles change. And one lifetime you may be the mother, and the next one you might be the daughter, and you're the father, and you all same people, but just taking different roles, and you each in a different lifetime experience the different perspective of the other person, so that you can sort of experience that life from their perspective as well. But like I was saying, is that those so we may be in this reality now. In the next incarnation, in the quote future, I could be the Eric role, or I could be whatever different role, doing the same sort of things but in different roles. But those because time is not linear. Time is one constant eternal now. It's hard to even explain it because I don't quite back my ears right it. But you have the concept of your higher self that is all of those those needs, what makes you, your soul, from all those other realities and timelines, all in one whole. So we're each the same in each reality. We're the same individual, but experiencing that reality differently. But because all those are all happening simultaneously, the higher self of you is in that other realm where time doesn't exist. It's all constant, and all of those other lifetimes are playing out in the quote now simultaneously, and your higher self has access to all of them. Where now in this reality we can't perceive those other versions of ourselves. So I know I'm kind of not making the same point I did, Eric, but I think the revelation for me
you
was
did
that
perfectly. How
your higher self has access to all of those, and when you in another timeline,
Yeah.
your life may be played out differently. When you sort of you go to your guides or to your higher self for guidance and for downloads, the other timeline that didn't manifest has you going down a different path, and the knowledge and experiences of those other lifetimes are part of your higher self. And so when you connect with your higher self, you can get downloads and insights of all the summation of all those other lifetimes where you've done all those other things that your higher self has, and can give you some of that knowledge, or but here, just in this one lifetime, we don't have access to that. But it's like those in my mind, I'm going back to that thing of where, like, when you channel like the soul of a relative that's passed, right? That version of you has moved on to another lifetime, right? In another incarnation, and so they're not sitting out there in spirit world. They've incarnated somewhere else, but their higher self is still there, and it's the sum of all those other selves. So when you talk to spirit and you're talking to the other you, that maybe in the next incarnation you're really talking to your higher self, and that other version of you that's incarnated in human form in some other reality isn't exactly what you're speaking to, because they're in the lower physical existence like we are here. But the higher self version of you is always there, and that's who you can connect to, and it's the same you, but all of the yous, say, combined together in one.
So let's break that right
That
makes
now
perfect
back
sense.
into the 12 laws for a second
that
here, because
we could technically. So I joke a lot about like coming back and like ghosting you, like being a ghost.
Can you guys
Yes.
hear Tori?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just, yes, let's tie it back to the 12 laws, but also like you can haunt yourself. Like literally, like I can come back as a ghost from this lifetime and haunt myself
Right.
right now because time isn't real.
Uh-huh.
So maybe that ghost encounter was just you. It was you reacting being ghosty at you.
There was someone who posted a story on TikTok about something similar where when she was a kid, she had some lady visit her and took her out in the world to spirit world to view some other thing, and later it turns out she's realizing that that's the different versions of her, past her, present her, future her, and all these people, these strange women visiting her, we're all versions of her, but just different times.
It's funny because yesterday I was talking to Elle and I was saying on how I was picturing the same thing you're talking about and we're all talking about as these different in me I was saying the spiritual guides, but I'm seeing them all these different parts. And all I could keep seeing was Voltron, and it's like I formed the leg, I formed the arms, then I'll form the head, and it's all of them just coming together into our higher self and becoming one.
It's the law of one.
That's right. Exactly.
So it applies to not only everything that exists in our now moment. So you guys are all one with me, and I'm one with you because we're all one. But we're also all one with our own selves and every experience we've ever had.
Precisely.
And for me, one of my big synchronicities is the Fibonacci sequence.
Yes.
And that really bothered me because I'm not a mathematician. And I don't I actually had to go ask Google to dumb it down for me. Like, can you please explain to me the Fibonacci?
I've asked Eric,
but you see it in nature.
Right.
It's
Naturally.
everything. It's the red pill.
But it's simple at the same time. We are the sum of everything we have ever been.
Yes.
Mhm.
And we are also the
We are the sum
continuation
of
of that
everything
infinitely.
that has ever existed. And that is ultimately what Fibonacci sequence is. Yes. So you have access to all you ever have ever been, and you are the sum of all of those things because of this principle of Fibonacci.
Yes.
It's so we can have it explained so many times, and we already get it. Honestly, we already get it.
Yes. Hey, wait, can you guys all hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Jake, have you ever seen that episode of How I Met Your Mother when the guy gets up and walks away, and then when he comes back, they're like, "Oh, you missed it." Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the Blitz. Yes,
The Blitz. You just walked away, bro, and everybody else just solved the universe.
Yeah.
Oh man.
No, but that's so true. And every single one of us is talking about the very same thing, that we recognize ourselves from a different perspective, whether we're right in the mess, like Jake and Tori and Eddie are talking about, or whether we're looking from a past perspective, from a new perspective, it's still ourself finding ourself. And there by nature has to be a cycle to
Now you're
that
cutting out a little bit.
for self-awareness. That's the whole key, is self-awareness. I'm breaking up.
Yeah, we're losing your audio. It's cutting out.
Oh, well, that figures. All right, is that better? You guys can't even hear me, can you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you now.
You gotta talk more. Yeah, that's better. No, we can hear you. That's better.
Am I really delayed?
Can you hear us?
I am really delayed from you.
No, we can't hear you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think so.
Just
You
keep
got
talking,
delayed,
you guys.
you got feedback, all kind of stuff.
Okay, you guys keep talking. You don't need me. Just keep going. It's fine. Everything's working else out. It's fine. Just keep talking. I'll figure my stuff out. Don't worry about it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Just jump in. We can hear you. Okay. No, I lost Jake.
Yeah, I don't
Is
hear
it Tori? I don't hear
Tori.
Tori. Tori, I don't hear you at all.
Yeah. No,
I think try this again next weekend. Let me post the thing. See if that works any better. Post the meeting, maybe.
Yeah. I don't
Okay,
know.
you can hear
Now
me.
I'm
Can you
back.
hear me now?
Yeah.
got
Okay, and you can hear me now?
Let's lit what?
It's breaking up pretty bad.
Let's go down.
Nah, everyone's
talk.
breaking up. Everyone's breaking up.
Yeah, I hear her breaking up and you heard. Yeah, that's it. We can't have this go out on the air.
Right, like as if this content doesn't exist everywhere.